3, 2, 1.
And when you finally realize this, it'll blow your mind, okay?
Mm-hmm.
1 Bitcoin is worth 1 Bitcoin.
Welcome to Sat Chat's Short Stacks. I'm your host, Anna Beavon.
And I'm your co-host, Stewart.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about why Bitcoin goes up and why Bitcoin goes down.
Yeah. So it's dipping right now. Google is telling us that everyone is searching for why Bitcoin go down. Why Bitcoin price go down. So we want to chat about why Bitcoin's price goes up, why Bitcoin's price goes down. And I've got 3 nice and easy little bouquets that you can drop this into in order to try to think about it.
Which is helpful because this whole short stack came because I have the same question.
Yeah, Anna Bev's is class of 2025, and she's still saying things like, oh my God, it's going all the way down to 100,000. I'm like, lady, I mean, even from last year, I cut my teeth between 60 and 70,000. So for it to go from 125 to 100, I'm like, dog, who cares? Literally, who cares?
Yeah, we've established that I am very clearly in the refresh, the Clark Moody dashboard mania.
Yep. And everybody goes through it.
Right. It makes me feel better knowing that I'm not alone.
Yeah, yeah.
That other people have gone through this stage and have worked their way out of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm just hoping that I will work my way out of it faster than a year. Because that's how long it was for you.
A year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about why Bitcoin's price would go up and down in the early days.
Okay.
Let's talk about why Bitcoin's price goes up and down now.
Okay.
And then let's talk about why Bitcoin's price actually doesn't go anywhere.
Hot take.
So, why did it used to go up and down? Okay. Now, this is just my experience. And again, class of 2024. So correct me in the comments. But in Bitcoin's early days, it was basically individual Bitcoiners who were, I'll say, buying and selling Bitcoin because that's the easiest way to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
They were buying and selling Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's total market value, or, the market cap, as they say, what was it? I mean, at one point it must have been $1 million, $2 million, $10 million.
Yeah.
It was a little baby. And so if a bunch of people are selling it all at once, then they could make the price go down, right? Because Bitcoin allows for supply and demand to just play out, in kind of an unfettered way. So in the early days, it would go up and down because individual people were buying and selling it. And maybe they might buy it all at one time because they want to get some and it drives it up, sell it all off, goes down, whatever. And, we've had so many Bitcoiners on this show who talked about how insanely volatile it used to be. Killian from Bolts talked about being on a Bitcoin standard years ago, and he could take these massive drops in a day, and people are like, why you look so, he's like, I'm having a bad day. Okay. You wouldn't understand why. So it used to be really go up and down. All right. But why does it go up and down now? Why do you think it goes up and down now?
Well, I don't know. I think that's why I asked the question because in general, usually they say don't ask a question unless you know the answer. I am very clearly not adhering to that. I'm asking the question because I don't know the answer and I don't really know how to explain it. I get inflation of the dollar. I get the government printing more money and how that impacts.
Okay.
But I don't get the reverse. I don't get how Bitcoin goes down and it's exchanged into dollars.
So I think that the reasons why Bitcoin's price goes up and down today are complex. But the simple answer, from what I can see in my experience so far as a Bitcoiner, is that today Bitcoin is this thing that traders are trading.
Okay.
It's not like Bitcoiners back in the day who were either anti-government or they were libertarian or whatever. And they're like, dude, this is the Bitcoin philosophers of old. They're not doing that anymore. It's like the Wall Street traders. It's the guy at the coffee shop who has the laptop with the chart up.
Yeah.
And it's like gold futures that are being traded in Asia right now, even though it's like 11 a.m. here. And then there's like a smartphone that's like a second chart. And he's like just going insane with the green candles and the red candles. You know, it's the institutions who can use computers to lightning fast try to take advantage of inefficient marketplaces that might make Bitcoin $100,000 and 620 in New York, but 100,000 and 619 in South Korea. And so they like buy a ton at the 619 and sell it at 620.
Yeah.
Right? Like now Bitcoin has assumed the burden of being an incredibly tradable item that doesn't open at 9:30 a.m. It doesn't close at 4 p.m.
Okay, so would you say that early on the up and down of Bitcoin was because like fewer people had adopted it? Like it was, and so any changes that would take place would be felt pretty like intensely, leading to the volatility.
Mm-hmm.
And that now it goes up and down because more people are adopting it and seeing it as a way to do some more trading and make some like faster gains.
That's a good way to think about it. Volatile early because there weren't a lot of people.
Yeah.
Volatile now because there are. Bitcoin is now over $2 trillion in terms of its overall value, you know, market cap. I really don't like using those terms.
I know it feels a little too like
we're not a financial show, so it's like we don't need that. But just the entirety of Bitcoin's worth in dollar terms is over $2 trillion.
Yeah.
It's bigger than Apple. It's bigger than Google.
Yeah.
Right? It's bigger than silver, I think. Maybe not now during the dip, but you get my idea.
Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah.
But now you have bigger players who are trying to work with it. I mean, countries are adopting it, institutions, money managers, all that stuff. I mean, you and me buying and selling Bitcoin these days is not going to have an impact on its price.
Right.
But in addition to people trading it more often, now they're building all this wild stuff on top of it. You know, they have the ability now to like trade in options.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like starting to, like Wall Street's starting to build all this stuff on top of Bitcoin that helps them financialize it even more and do all the insanity that they love to do with all the other stuff, right? So, you know, there was like a moment a couple of weeks ago where there was like a crypto catastrophe. And Killian talked about it in his episode as well.
And I totally missed that. Like I didn't even pay attention to it.
Yeah. All these cryptocurrencies got wrecked and Bitcoin dipped down. And it's because people, you know, they're loading up on calls and puts and shorts and longs, and they're making all these bets on top of Bitcoin that when it hits a certain number or drops below, it wipes out all these people.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay.
You get the idea. There's a lot of just like stuff happening on the base layer and now on top of Bitcoin. And when people get leveraged up or they do these options and it hits a certain price number, it can blow it out downward or it can blow it upward.
Yeah. So the like mass adoption or greater adoption of Bitcoin can work both ways. Like it can make it so that it does appear to be volatile and go up and down. And it also helps with it, the up and down not being as severe. Would you say that? Because like people are holding on to their Bitcoin long term, which is what we talk about all the time on the show.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
There's definitely like, because I'm one of them, a base of Bitcoiners who are just holding on to their Bitcoin. That's it.
Yeah.
There's like a floor.
Or they're like DCAing out.
Uh-huh.
So they're not like their movement in and out is pretty predictable.
Right.
It's not mass like sell.
Yeah. There is a class of Bitcoiner who recognizes, and this is a good segue, that the price of Bitcoin is going nowhere and never has gone anywhere one time. Right? And when you finally realize this, it'll blow your mind. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
One Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin. Right? I mean, do you get it in your gut when I say one Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin?
I remember when you were talking about that, we were actually talking to Reg about the documentary. And it was like one of the earlier conversations. I think it was probably the first time you met Reg. And
yeah, we like talked for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, so the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense. It totally makes sense that one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. The thing that I find as an added layer to that is the fact that we live in a world that uses dollars.
Yeah.
And so when you think about the value of your Bitcoin in the exchanged into dollars, like it does, like one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. That can be true.
Yeah.
But this also can be a factor in your decision making.
Sure.
Which is why their whole like buy the dip, which the Bahamas reminds us to buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
Had some French onion today.
Yeah, it was nice.
Good. It was good.
Yeah.
Well, and to try to say what I'm saying here, the reason why one Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin is because there are only 21 million Bitcoin. And there cannot be any more realistically. So if I put my hard-earned monetary energy into Bitcoin, it will stay that size of the network, period. So one Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin, but sure, on any given day, you can exchange that for more dollars or less dollars. But that's only because you're thinking about it in dollar terms, right? One Bitcoin has always been one Bitcoin since the beginning of all Bitcoin time. The amount of goods and services you can get for one Bitcoin has changed. So you could think about Bitcoin in terms of how many sheep from Iceland you can get, or in terms of how many dollars you can get, or in terms of how many shares of NVIDIA you can get. And actually, you know, this is misleading here because it really is only showing you dollar terms, right? It's saying, hey, it's down almost 20% in dollar terms. Is it down in gold terms? I think it's been kind of steady in gold terms for a couple of months. So it hasn't even made new all-time highs in gold terms. So the lens by which you measure the value of your Bitcoin changes whether you think Bitcoin has gone up or gone down.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
right?
If I were going on a world tour, like some of our guests that we've had on the show have talked about like traveling to other countries.
Yep.
If I were going on a world tour, I would think about Bitcoin differently in its exchange into the different currencies.
Yes, but also no, because every fiat currency is getting wrecked compared to Bitcoin.
For sure, but it wouldn't be as like closely tied to the exchange rate of the dollar.
Probably not. I mean, if it's down in dollar terms, it's probably down in Guatemalan quetzales as well.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty much steady in gold terms, and maybe even might be, I don't know, But the amount of cars or homes or livestock I can buy has gone up like crazy. So it used to go up and down because it was small and people were trading it back and forth. Now it goes up and down because it's big and financial individuals are starting to go absolutely ham because they recognize Bitcoin is an incredible financial thing. But the true moment of Zen is when you realize that one Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin. And no matter if it's down 20% or up 20%, you're stacking your sats each week or each month according to how much you can afford to stack. And that's all there is to it.
And I will have to get out of my year of refreshing.
Yeah.
Like refresh mania.
Over time, you do get far enough out into the ocean of dollar cost averaging that
it doesn't matter.
The waves are way back on the shore somewhere. Can't even hear them.
Mm-hmm.
Are you now ready to just jump into the one Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin land? It sounds like you're still going to be refreshing.
I think I'm going to be refreshing for a little while longer, but I will be refreshing with maybe a little less anxiety.
Yeah.
Or we'll have this conversation again and I'll have to be told again.
If you enjoyed this episode of Sat Chats Short Stacks, subscribe for your chance to win 2 million sats. We will drop those on your head at random. We're going to pick one of you when we reach 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And we're trying to get y'all underneath our Yuletide tree. So make it happen. You can support or sponsor our show in other ways on top of subscribing. It's all in the show notes for you. Remember, Sat Chats Short Stacks is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Until next time, how many Bitcoin is one Bitcoin worth?
So we talked a little bit about Killian's episode, number 131 Killian, where he talked about how Bitcoin went up and down in the early days. So to catch that episode, watch it here.
Wow.